everybody. Welcome to episode 5 of Low Key Track, the podcast where I, host DJV, talk about the least streamed song on an album. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Magdalena Bay and their new album, Imaginal Disk. For those who don't know who Magdalena Bay is, they're a synth-pop duo originally from Miami, and they formed the group together on break from college and are also a couple. They're known mainly for their TikTok videos, which talk about the music industry, and they also do these weird memes that are done in a very VHS style, very ironic, very dry humor, and a little bit, I think kitsch is probably the word for it. And their latest album, which is called Imaginal Disk, it's their second album. It came out in August 2024. And the title refers to imaginal disks, which are tiny structures that are within larvae that emerge to form parts of their adult bodies. So the album as a whole is basically sort of described as like a loose concept album, and it's basically about a robot that is trying to be human. And the least popular track, the low-key track on the album, is called Angel on a Satellite. Technically, the least streamed track is called Feeling Disconcerted, but it's a little bit more of a short interlude than a full song, and I want to talk about full songs on this podcast, so I'm going with Angel on a Satellite, which is the least streamed full track, I should say. So looking at the podcast, looking at the album specifically, Angel on a Satellite has about 2.9 million streams. The most streamed song on the album is called Image, and it has about 19.5 million streams as of this recording. Both pretty modestly popular, but Angel on a Satellite is obviously the least streamed one, and I want to know why that is. Well, here's just what I think. TikTok. That is my first point. With TikTok, music has just completely changed as to how it's spread, and it's no secret here that a group that is incredibly TikTok popular and posts pretty much ideal algorithm content is going to have their music spread like wildfire through TikTok, and that is what is happening here with Magdalena Bay. So I was looking at some of the songs, TikTok content associated with these songs, and I saw that with Angel on a Satellite, there was maybe 100 something videos, which isn't necessarily a lot for a super popular song. In fact, I would say it's not a lot at all. Versus at least with Image, there was almost 10,000 videos of people just making different content surrounding the song and using it as audio. So just goes to show with music and how it's spread nowadays, content is very key. The way the song is used in key, the context is very key. And sometimes you have really ridiculous trends that develop based around the song, or you don't. And some people will maybe make something like, I can't believe people aren't listening to this song more. And I think that's the case with Angel on a Satellite, where not a lot of people are talking about it, but either people are just sending their love to Magdalena Bay and talking about the album, or maybe they're crying on video because the song is kind of sad, which I'll get to in a second. And ultimately, what I at least see from this the most is that continue to promote your songs on TikTok, really, if you want to see them spread and want to see them grow in popularity. And Angel on a Satellite just doesn't have that much of TikTok content compared to some of the other songs of the album, and I think that helps kind of contribute to its popularity relative to the rest of the music on it. So my other point with this is that it is the second to last song on the album, and it's also a lot slower than the other tracks. So this album as a whole is full of very catchy, up-tempo, synth-pop beats, and a lot of the lyrics talk about trying to be human, developing emotions, fighting against the forces that make it very difficult to be human. And this is coming at the tail end of the album, so it is out of 12 tracks, out of 15 tracks, it is number 14. And, with attention spans, with people not necessarily listening to full albums nowadays and are probably more inclined to just pick their favorite songs from an album, put them on a playlist, this is going to come a little bit lower, just because it's lower down the track list. And on top of that, it is slower. It's very like slow piano heavy, some very minor synths working in it, and it doesn't necessarily have that immediate catchy production that some of the other songs have. Like I know Image has a really really catchy hook. I like Killing Time a lot as well. I think that has a really nice upbeat tempo. And then with this one, it's very much like almost matches up with the concept of the song, which is slow and also a little bit disconnected from the rest of the album. And that brings me to my third point when it comes to the low-key track on this, or rather why it's the low-key track, is that the album as a whole talks about disconnecting, or rather finding yourself and trying to be human while simultaneously disconnecting. What I mean by that is that throughout this album, you see a lot of discussions of relationships, of love, of romance, of breakups, of the fallout from that. And it's this robot attempting to understand the things that happen when humans go through these things. And it's trying to process all of that information. So with Angel on a Satellite specifically, the reason I say it's disconnected is because the song itself is basically about being very numb and almost emotionless. So what I'm gauging from listening to the song is that the core essence of it is that it's basically about someone that is controlling you and you're powerless to it. I think this also has a bit of social commentary, which reference, the current state of the world, and especially probably something like social media, where we're all perpetually numb to real life, and we choose to scroll social media to find that dopamine, that instant gratification, that next meme or that next piece of content that you can send to your friends. And the algorithm determines your personality. You don't have a say in it. So the subject of the song, I believe her name is True, basically is kind of okay with this and just kind of accepts it. And understands that in this world that we exist, you have a lot of things that you can become addicted to. And in this case, it is social media. It is just being online. It is finding niche content that you can share or just be a part of. It's trying to be part of a community because real life communities are fading or in some cases don't really exist anymore. And it's pretty sad to think about. That being said, you could also interpret this as a bit of peaceful acceptance, because maybe as you're going through and maybe doom scrolling or searching for memes, you're possibly just like, okay, this is it. It is what it is. Maybe I can focus on something else. And content creators are like the new celebrities, I think. And this song kind of ties into that, because with the way that social media is numbing us, it draws closer to having like content creators and influencers be the only ones to attempt to show personality. Now, social media is pretty fake, and anyone that posts a certain life may not be living that exact life. But nobody seems to really care, and they're just kind of accepting of it. They're numb of it. As a young millennial, I like to think I have a little bit of disconnect from it, but I'm also not perfect. I also scroll a lot on Instagram Reels and had to shut it off for a little bit just because it was absolutely destroying my mental health. And I empathize completely, because what this song is telling me and what a lot of the people, basically based on like what the fans of Magdalena Bay and this album are telling me, is that y'all are not okay. And that is unfortunate, because having gone through a phase of this myself and still kind of coming out of it, it takes a pretty bad toll on you. And for anyone that is listening, for anyone that feels like that they are powerless or that they don't feel right, feel accepted, starting to feel numb, I want to just say that everything is going to be okay. Reach out to the people that you love. Reach out to friends. Reach out to family. Find that community that you can attempt to find with hobbies, with maybe, your job. I'm not saying that, and I say that knowing that it's a little bit of a slippery slope, because some people can definitely get like addicted to their job and you become like sort of a corporate husk. But if your job does give you a sense of purpose and it does keep you happy, then by all means, try to get better at it every day and try to approach it with a level of curiosity and a level of enthusiasm, because the world is not in a great place right now, but that doesn't mean you don't have to be. You can try to be better. You can try to rise above it. And now, don't get me wrong, it takes time, it takes effort, but I like to think it's worth it in the long run. And, I'm very thankful and fortunate to have, family and friends that have my back, that believe in me, that want me to succeed. And I really hope that you have the pleasure of having that as well. And if you don't, then know that I'm here supporting you. So a little bit of a tangent there, but that's kind of my feeling on this song. It just kind of sums up that numbness and sums up that lack of control you have. And you could either be peacefully accepting that, you could let it control you, but I hope you don't let it control you, and I hope you're able to climb out of any rut you're in. So these are the reasons why I think Angel on a Satellite is the low-key track of Imaginal Disk. If this is your favorite song in the album, that is great. I hope you're able to take a really positive interpretation of the song, or utilize the song as a way to maybe focus on something that you love, that you cherish, and that you want to continue pursuing as you navigate life. Ultimately, the purpose of music is to build a connection with yourself at a deeper level and find those healthy ways to continue to express yourself as a human being, because you are a human being. You have emotions, you are empathetic, you are capable of love, you are capable of so many things, and you don't want to necessarily become a numbless robot. Well, sorry to be a little bit of a downer, but I hope I wasn't. Ultimately, keep pushing, keep grinding, and you will find yourself on the other side better. So thanks for listening to episode 5 of Low Key Track. This is available wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow me on social media at Low Key Track, and I also DJ at The Fake DJV, so you can follow me there to find some cool mixes. And until next time, try to look up once in a while.